Thank you for hanging out with me today. I am JB Bryan, the President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, my registered investment advisory firm that I started in 1995, now in Virginia, Maryland, Washington, D.C., and New York. So definitely check us out. And if you're not in one of the states, make sure you definitely communicate with me. I talked to a brother in California. The internet allows us to service you wherever you are, especially through the AfroEconomics membership. So if you go to AfroEconomics.com, you click the white box, you'll go to the AEmembersonly.com, and you can select your membership. There's even an entrepreneurship membership. So if you own your own business or you've always wanted to, definitely check out the entrepreneurship membership. And then there's a family membership that covers all your kids that are under 18 and you and your spouse. So definitely, even if you're about to get married, it will cover you both also. So definitely the family membership is a savings. And then of course you have the individual membership, the first one. The beginning of it all was the individual membership of AfroEconomics. So we're excited about the growth. Thank you so much for once again being here on Wednesday, allowing me to discuss a key principle of AfroEconomics, which is Black health and Black wealth, the 10th principle of AfroEconomics, the legacy edition of AfroEconomics. Each principle has an Adinkra symbol with it, and that's a ram's head for the Adinkra symbol for Black health and Black wealth. Indeed. So make sure you check out the book, and if you would like the ebook, it definitely, when you become a member, you get the ebook. You even get the children's book that you could share with the young person in your life. And the children's book is actually an activity book. It's called Me, My Family, My Legacy. So let's talk about Black health, Black wealth. Now, when you think about now, all of you that are, I don't know if I can do you all on Facebook as good service. How you doing, Donnell Tice? Good afternoon, my brother. Mark Fisher, how you doing? Educate Miss Lady. I'm gonna try my best. Mark Fisher and Donnell Tice, brothers on Facebook, doing their thing, working and still taking out time. Mark Fisher's got his own community funeral home service in Tidewater, servicing the entire area out there in Virginia on the water. And every year he does something for the community, and AfroEconomics is on the scene. He is making a difference. That's all we should do. That's what makes life really matter. Thank you so much, Donnell Tice. He was the host of our Black Men, today's Black Man and His Money. He did a fabulous job as the MC for the event and got the message out there about the Black man and his money. AfroEconomics is committed to today's Black man. So indeed, let's talk about some key things and I'll let you go. I think that one key point I want to end and begin with this, is that I want you, when it comes to your health, to be tougher than your life is. Remember that, and remember it, remember. Always be tougher than your life is. That wasn't my first point, that was the last point that I wanted to make, but some of you won't be here at the end. I want you to know that I want you to be tougher than your life is. Don't take the easy way out or into anything. Make sure that you accept the challenge, that in order to be healthy, it's going to require some sacrifice on our part. As an entrepreneur, I realized in 1995, in my 20s, that I was making a commitment, and I was committing my life to a life of consistent stress. That is the only thing that I could depend on, is that I was going to have change every day. That there was no day in my life as a business owner, Mark Fisher will agree with me on this, that you can depend on things being inconsistent. So with that, with inconsistency becomes an additional underlying, you can call it chronic stress. So it's about learning how to manage your stress with whatever life choice that we've made. So that's why I'm saying, in order to be healthy, we have to learn to be tougher than our life is. and face the decision. The reason it doesn't get to me, the reason I never thought, no, I can't, let me back up. The reason I haven't given up. Now, of course, I've always thought about, we think about giving up. The reason I haven't given up, with all of the changes, life changes that must have gone on from 1995, not to mention market changes, the only reason is because we have to make a decision to be tougher than our life is. So let's make sure that you know that in order for Black health to improve, because we realize that if you walk and spend time with our community, we know that there is a health challenge. And I am convinced that a lot of that health, and research will show, is because of the cultural stresses that we experience throughout our life. So what we have to do, and we're always doing it, is being tougher than our life is. Because if we're not tougher, that's where bad habits will come in. That's where you learn to deal with the stress and the challenges of your life in a way that will destroy your stress. So we have to be tougher than that. We have to make that decision that I don't drink. I've never drank. I don't smoke. I've never smoked. I cannot. These are luxuries that I can't afford to do because I know that they will increase my chances of not feeling good come Monday morning. And so you've got to be prepared to always be on. And in order to always be on is to learn how to manage your off time and how you spend it and what you find entertaining and what you find comforting. We've got to be tougher than our life is. We have to find healthy responses to stress. All too often, people in stressful jobs or careers or businesses tend to do really bad things to their body in a way to treat themselves or to comfort themselves from the stress that we're under. But we have to realize that we cannot do those things. Thank you so much, y'all, for our webinar participants. Please, if you have any questions for me, let me know. Definitely, indeed. We got Ed Key out there. Thank you so much, Ed, for participating, and Michelle Edwards as well. Definitely. So I'm going to, so much for technology. It popped my screen right off, just like that. But look, I have a healthy response to it. I laughed. We need to laugh when things seem like they're appearing that they're falling apart. But if we just stay calm, we can get life back on track. So a key to a healthy lifestyle, Black health, Black wealth, is that we have to accept that we need to be tougher than our life is, and we're not going to fold and pick up bad habits in response to the stress that we're under. So accept that you are responsible. So my first point, in addition to my last point, which is to be tougher than your life is, and remember that, and I'm going to keep repeating it, to accept that your health is your responsibility. Chronic diseases are expensive. Chronic diseases cost people so much money that they don't even realize it, because you're spending all of this money for extra doctor visits, for extra deductibles, for extra expense that you have to pay for every time you purchase life insurance. So you have to, because of, in many cases, some decisions that we made and we said, well, hey, it is what it is. No, it is not what it is not. We do not have to have negative responses to the stresses that we're under, because bad decisions, bad foods, bad habits will create these chronic illnesses that we want to do our best to avoid. If something happens, and it does happen, if God forbid, you end up with a disease, you want to be able to say, I did my best. I was tougher than my life was. And then a disability, it can lead to, and a disability, and if you look at the numbers, disabilities are cutting careers up. They're cutting down the number of years that you can accumulate wealth. They're cutting down the time that you have to actually increase your income, to increase your assets, because you're beginning, when you become disabled, you're starting to pull out of your assets earlier in life than you had planned, making, for many people, financial planning an impossibility. So it's important to, if you feel even that this one principle of AfroEconomics that you feel is slipping away from you, that gives you a good reason of why you should become a member of AfroEconomics. That mere point that you need to set up a situation where you have an accountability partner, me, to assist you with how you're managing things in your life, including your health. It's real. So a second point is the impact of health on wealth is getting worse because there's less of the expenses that are being covered. Even though we have health insurance that's available to everybody, everybody will agree that they're spending more money on healthcare now more than ever if they have a need for healthcare. There's a lot more being spent out of pocket. My retired clients especially are spending more and more money even with the affordable care. So you've got to be prepared that a big part, if you don't watch out for your health, then a big part of your retirement income, that lump sum that you will be saving up, putting money away, they're showing numbers that over $250,000 could be spent on uncovered medical expenses unless we get our health on track, unless you invest in your health. An interesting point I brought up this morning when I was talking about this workshop on Facebook, this webinar, is that I was saying that I looked at research and it was like San Francisco Federal Reserve did a study, and they found that when they compare themselves, when there's people with the same income. So I got to get this example right. I thought this was amazing, and it shows you why materialism can kill you. So they said if people were living in a neighborhood surrounded by people that were doing better than them, their chances of committing suicide were higher. So that shows you that people that are killing themselves by comparing themselves to other people instead of focusing inwardly. So I want you to grab this one thing out of this discussion. Don't look at your neighbor. Focus on you. Focus on your health, your walk, your meal, your garden, your child, your family, your spouse. You focus on you. You focus on you, not what's going on outside of you in order to be healthy. I mean, who would have thought about that? I mean, I don't even know how God brought that to my attention. I was just looking at little health topics, just studying, just thinking about today's topic. And then it brought that up, and and then I screenshot it. I was like, that is amazing that it was talking about. Let me show you this. I'm going to try to pull this up because I really want to quote this for you. And it was saying, I'm going to get this because I screenshot it, and it says that. Look at this. Boom. So I screenshot a whole bunch of stuff. Laura, I screenshot a lot. Well, anyway, I did screenshot it. And it was talking about the San Francisco Federal Reserve did the research and discovered that people were actually comparing themselves to one another, and people that were doing that were miserable and had an increased chance of committing suicide. If you took that same person with the same income, moved them over to another neighborhood, where everybody was doing about the same as them, and their chances of committing suicide reduced dramatically. It also said that a person with a $10,000 income had a 50% higher chance of committing suicide than a person with a $60,000 income. Isn't that amazing? And then when they measured that happiness quotient, it said that people who were, when they got around $100,000, their happiness quotient really didn't increase. It was like somewhere between 60 and 100,000. They were just happy. It was good enough. when it got around 100,000, they started becoming more miserable. That could be because of debt increasing. You see a lot of people make a lot of money, and because of the debt that they've been able to accumulate based on that income, maybe, is creating additional stress for them, creating sadness, depression, and a miserable life. So a miserable life leads to what? Bad health choices. Stress is a killer. Stress will deteriorate your life. Stress, and how we manage stress. Because all of us, we're Black. We're going to be under a certain level of stress. So how we deal with our stress is what determines our health, really. How you deal with the stress, how you manage it, how you manage the stress. So I'm sorry, y'all, on Facebook. I'm trying to get you back so we can communicate. But but I am here. They can still see me. I just can't see your comments. That's why I would like to have everybody on the webinar. But after we finish, I'll go back into the AfroEconomics with JB Bryan page and reply to every comment, I promise you. Let's look at a third point. Choose healthy over anything. Choose healthy over anything. I had a friend, and she said, I'm going to start working overtime so that I can buy my dream car. Matter of fact, she didn't tell me I'm going to. She said, I work overtime because I bought that dream car. That creates stress. You're working overtime. Now you can't spend as much time with your family. Now you can't spend as much. So it creates stress in your relationship, possibly, quite possibly. The less time we spend together, the less we can love on each other, and it will deteriorate that. And a breaking up in a relationship is stress. Stress creates disease, creates bad choices. It can just lead to, so choose health over anything. Health is greater than anything. I have family members that are chronically ill now who will testify. I should interview them right now. They will testify that if they could do anything, they would take all their money and buy exactly what they need their body to do for them right now at this point. So what we're saying is, it's not worth it for us to sacrifice our health for these things that we might want. Now I'm talking to myself now because I'm an entrepreneur. So I have a commitment to the business, but the business needs me to have a commitment to myself. And keeping that balance is a challenge because at the same time, I have my child, my family. I'm a single parent. And at the same time, I have a relationship and I'm in love. So it's about getting that balance so that everything that you enjoy can stay together. So definitely, I think that your health has to be that choice over everything else. So I said, choose health. Health is greater than any other thing. We purchase things and then neglect our health. And we don't need to do that. I've seen a lot of people who will purchase things based on a W-2 that was based on working a 12-hour shift for the entire year. So then they buy all these things and then they cut down the hours at the plant back to 8-hour shifts. So you accumulated these debts based on income that you can't depend on. Because all they wanted to see was your W-2. And then say, hey, look at all that money. But you knew deep inside that you were exposing yourself to a possible stress by knowing that I'm going to buy something that really that's not based on my base income. So make sure, even if you're purchasing a home for your family and you have 2 people working outside the home, how great it would be if you purchased that home based on one income. What a great decision. So many marriages fall apart because of that, and that leads to stress, and that leads to problems, that leads to chronic illnesses, that leads to so many things. It's like a snowball effect of negativity when we begin to become materialistic. So we want to avoid this world's materialism in order to protect our stress. Who would have thought? Look, not being materialistic could be better for your life more than taking a walk, right? So how about doing both? Walk and don't be materialistic. And number 4, do not be a burden. Do not be a burden. And what I was thinking about here when I wrote that down is that if you look at the numbers, AfroEconomics, Black people are more likely to be sandwiched, where you're working hard, but your mama needs money from you and your kids need money from you. That's a challenge. And there's a lot of us in that situation. So if you're the mama or you're the daddy that needs help from the generation below you, you've become a burden to them. We're gonna be that person one day. You don't wanna be that burden because you had to stop work because you didn't take care of yourself. You wanna make better choices. Don't create unnecessary stress. Don't buy things you can't really afford that'll create stress. There is a connection between bad credit scores and cardiovascular disease. So that means that the stress, of having this bad credit is killing people. It's reducing their lifespan. Amazing, right? Number 5, and finally, we're back to my key point. Be tougher than your life is. Refuse to let things become so important that they deteriorate your health. They reduce your sound decision making. You can quickly slip into a lifestyle that doesn't include healthy choices. Learn how to say, no, I can't do that because I need to rest. Learn how to say, no, I don't eat that anymore. Learn how to say, no, I don't do that anymore. Learn how to say no so that you can be healthy, and that having that health is priceless. It can be worth millions. I mean, there's people with millions of dollars who cannot buy what they need to improve their health. Your health is priceless. So make sure you go to aemembersonly.com, check out the membership. Let's develop a relationship. Let's start building wealth together. Wealth for AfroEconomics is 10 principles, not just one thing. And not one of the principles is about money. We got a principle in there about financial independence. Financial independence depends on what you say it is. Being financially independent doesn't mean you have to be stressed out. That means you need to adjust your lifestyle according to what you need to, and we need to invest according to the lifestyle that you want. You deserve to have your specific needs met. Thank you all so much for being on the webinar. It makes me happy every time I see you all on. Yes, and I see you all on there, and I see my questions. I see my chats. Thank you so much. Ed and Donnell Tice made a comment and said yes. Say yes to what? I don't know, but he said say yes to what? So keep laughing adds years to your life. Keep loving each other. Keep being lovable. And stay nice, stay happy, stay away from stress. Don't be materialistic. Be healthy. Black health, Black wealth. It all connects. You're wealthy when you have your health right. Indeed, it is priceless. So invest in you, and thank you for investing this time into your health and your wealth. Have a wonderful day. God bless each of you. I'm JB Bryan, President and Chief Investment Officer at JB Bryan Financial Group, a registered investment advisory firm and the home of AfroEconomics. Check it out, AfroEconomics.com. Be blessed.